A very energetic morning to my dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are happy and safe at your homes. Is everyone ready for today's session? Yes. So let's start with our new topic. But going before to new topic, just recall what we learned in yesterday's session. In continuation with gravitation, what we learned? Point number 1. We see that some force is required to move the object. When any object is in circular motion, there must be some centripetal force which pulls the object towards the center. In case of revolution of moon around the earth exerts a pull on the moon and attracts it towards center. In case of solar system, sun pulls all the planets towards it, and therefore due to this centripetal force means this pull is towards the center. All the planets, they revolve around the sun. Is that clear to you? For a motion, some force is required. And in case of centripetal force, the direction of the force is towards the center of the circular path. One question for you. This table is stationary. Some objects you can see, they are stationary. I am also stationary, sitting on the chair. Is there any force? Is there any force acted on us? Is there any force acted on the stationary object? Just think and guess. Use your brain power. Is there any force behind stationary object? Got the answer? Yes. There must be some force which hold the objects in fixed position. Here we are fixed here. We have a fixed position. Table is in the proper position, in a fixed position due to the force which is exerted by the earth, and that is the gravitational force. Think what will happen if there will be no gravitational force. What will happen? Could you guess? Yes, the things will not have in the fixed position. They will move here and there. So, keep in your minds, some force is also required to keep the object stationary. As I told you, today's topic is on Kepler's law. Before jumping to Kepler's laws, we must to know some interesting facts. Galileo, do you heard the name? Galileo was the famous astronomer. He invented telescope and observed the sky with the help of telescope. And he observed the position of the planets and their motion. But before Galileo, the ancient astronomers, they have no such device to observe the sky, to observe the celestial bodies. Celestial bodies means what? The objects in the sky. At that time, they observed the sky with naked eyes and found that the position of the planets, it is changed after regular interval. From that ancient time, they knew the position of the planets, it is not fixed and they are moving. Means they know about the position of the planets and about their motion. By the 16th century, a lot of data was available about planets' position and planetary motion. Kepler studied this data, worked on it, and he postulated 3 laws. But before that, we must have to know who is Kepler, what initial work he did. So I am telling you, Kepler was a German astronomer and he was also a great mathematician. He studied all the data, worked hard on it and postulated 3 laws. When he studied the data, he was surprised because he noticed that the planetary motion follows some rules. Just like we follow some rules in our school, we follow some rules in society. For what? For proper working, for convenient. Likewise, nature also follows some rules, and he noticed that some rules are followed by planetary motion, and from that rules he postulated 3 laws. What are they? We studied one by one. So now just we will see the first Kepler's law. Before that, I want to show you 2 shapes. Can you see this shape and this shape also? Are they similar? No, not. This is called as circular shape and this shape is called as elliptical shape. It is called as ellipse. Now we have to do with this, or we have to learn with this elliptical shape. So this is the elliptical shape and this is called as orbit. By this manner the planets revolve around the stars. So the planets generally we call they are in circular motion, but they are not exactly in circular motion. They follow the elliptical path, and the path of rotation of the planets, it is elliptical, and this path is called as orbit. This path is called as orbit. So do you understand? This shape is the elliptical shape. This shape is called as ellipse. Now next we have to see I used to just for clarity of the concept, this is one straw, this is the second straw I keep here to show you the midpoint of the ellipse. Suppose this is the midpoint of the ellipse. There are 2 points I am keeping one bindi here and I keep another bindi here. These are 2 points. These are 2 points to show you the focus of the ellipse. Suppose this is the midpoint of the ellipse. From this midpoint at equal distances, the ellipse have 2 focal points. One point is called focus and many points are called foci. It means that the ellipse has 2 foci. It means that the ellipse has 2 foci. Then next, this is the one foci of the ellipse. And about planetary motion, when we understand, suppose I keep here a bead. Suppose that it is a sun. What means that? It means that the sun is not at the center of the ellipse, but it is at the one foci of the ellipse. The position of the sun, see here, is that clear? The position of the ellipse is not at the center, but it is at one focus point. It is at the one foci of the ellipse. So, what is the first law? The first law states that the orbit of a planet is an ellipse and sun is at one foci of the ellipse. So, now come to the second law of Kepler. What he stated in the second law? See, this is the elliptical path by which planets revolve around the sun. What is the position of the sun? It is not exactly at the center of the ellipse, but it is at the one, its position is at the one foci of the ellipse. Now consider this will be, or this is the planet. This is the planet. This is the position of the planet. Say this point is A. From here to this is the line joining the sun and planet. This is the distance. Can you see? This is the distance between sun and planet. See the distance. After some interval of time, we consider just 1 month of interval. If a planet starts from point A and revolve round and round and comes here. After what time? Time of 1 month. From here to there. One planet in 1 month covers this distance from point A to point B. And this is the distance between the sun and the planet. This is the line joining between sun and planet. For understanding, I will mark here the distance. I put a mark on this straw to just understanding. So this is the distance between the planet and the sun. What we see? From point A, it travels to point B. It comes here. In how much time? After 1 month it comes to this point. Again we consider a next point. If we keep a planet here. Now see the distance between sun and planet. Now see the distance between sun and planet. Can you see? The line is, the length is more. I again here mark for only understanding. It is not exactly the distances. It is for only understanding. The length increases here because the distance increases due to the elliptical shape. Now again for understanding, we see that from this point, consider this point, we have taken here A and B. Now we take it as a C point. From C point, after 1 month, it travels and comes here. See, I put one more bead. From here, it goes there. See the distance. And for here to showing in 1 month from A to B, it covers this much of distance. So once again, I am telling you. This is the one planet. It starts from this point. We will take this point as A point. After 1 month, it comes to this point. Another we take second position of planet. We consider another position of planet. From this position, after 1 month, it goes to this position. It travels to this position after 1 month. Can you see the difference between their cover distances at periphery, at circumference of the ellipse? Can you see? You can see here it covers more distance, and here you can see it covers less distance. See the difference. Here the distance is more, and here it covers the planet. This is the planet, same planet we are talking about. It covers less distance here. If we take again another point, see here what will happen. This is the planet, and after 1 month, after rotation, it will come to this point. So according to your book and the figure, I take activity for understanding. This is the position of the sun. This position we supposed to take that it moves the planet from this position to this position after 1 month. Again we take another position, from this position to this position after 1 month the planet travels. See here, this is planet's position after 1 month, it covers this much distance. But what we see, every time it covers different distances at circumference of the ellipse. Here it covers more distance, here it covers less distance, and here it covers very less distance. But after that, what Kepler found, that though the distances are unequal at the circumference, but when we thought about or we calculate the areas, this area and this area, they are equal. So how this happened? See what happened? This distance is less, one factor is less and one factor is more. What is the condition here? One factor is more, this length is more, and this circumference distance is less. What is here? What condition is here? Here see, the distance is also increases and this much distance is less. Then there is balance between two factors. If one factor is more, another factor is less. If one factor is more, another factor is less. If one factor is more, another factor is less. And so the planets cover equal areas in equal interval of time. So Kepler stated that the planets cover equal areas in equal interval of time. So student, now we are learning about Kepler's third law. What the law states? See here. Again, this is the sun at one focus point of the ellipse. This is the elliptical path for the rotation of the planets, and this is a planet. Suppose this planet starts from here and goes round and round and round and round and round and again come to its mean position. This path, this cycle, one cycle of rotation is called revolution of the planet. Some time also required to revolve the planet. The time required to revolve the planet is called as revolution period. The time is called as revolution period. Revolution period of different planets is different. Suppose this is Earth. I kept one more planet here. Suppose this is Mercury. One more planet I kept here. Suppose this is the last planet of our solar system and this is the Neptune. Which is near to the sun, the planet which is near to the sun has a less revolution period. The revolution period of Mercury is near about 88 days. It revolves around the sun in 88 days. The revolution period of Earth is near about approximately 365 days. 365 days are required to complete one revolution around the sun. This is the last planet of our solar system and it is Neptune. It requires near about 129 years to revolve around the sun. So, now about revolution period, the Kepler stated a law. What he says? The revolution period, suppose it is called as capital T, the square of revolution period. Before that, I want to show you the distance between sun and planet. Here less distance. If the planet comes here, the distance between the sun and the planet increases. Again it comes here, again the distance increases. Means due to focal position, due to focus point, the position of the sun at the focus of the ellipse, that's why the distances, they are different at different position. So how the distance calculated? The distance is calculated by taking average mean. The Kepler stated that the revolution period, that is called as capital T, and the average distance between the sun and the planet is called as small r. What he stated, relation between revolution period and the distance between planet and the sun, he stated that the square of the revolution period. See here on the board, the square of the revolution period is directly proportional to the average distance, to the cube of the average distance. Then, how to solve? This square of distance, instead of proportionality sign, is equal to constant r cube, means distance cube. Then what? T square is equal to, bring that distance here, is equal to constant. So, in the third law, Kepler stated that the square of the revolution period is directly proportional to the average, the cube of the average distance. And after that, what is the simplification? T square upon r cube is equal to constant. This is the third law of Kepler. So student, we learned 3 laws of Kepler's in this video. Revise it, watch the video regularly and understood the concept. So this is the time to say bye-bye. We will meet in the next video. Thank you.